How is it going, guys? Welcome to Ask Mush Episode 2. I think that's going to be the title that I'm going to use for this series. And just before I get started with this video, please leave any of your questions for next week's or whenever I do another episode. It's probably actually not going to be weekly, since my last video actually had like 170 comments, so many questions. And yeah, just ask your questions down below. Please don't ask any questions that you already asked on a previous video, because I'm still going to be working my way through on the good questions from those videos. I actually have a couple questions from my first video on here. So yeah, if you already asked a question on a previous video, don't ask the same question again on this video. Keep things fresh and keep things unique. You know, it just doesn't have to be about PC parts. It can be about games, anime, anything, TV, movies. I don't give a shit. I'll answer it. And yeah, with that being said, let's get straight into this with the first question. The first question comes from Arnie3177. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He asks, do you hate consoles and only play on PC, or do you support both of them? Well, this is actually a question that I really wanted to answer, just because on my videos there's a lot of PC fanboys and a lot of people that just like to shit on the consoles and talk about how the consoles specs are so low, how the consoles have no good games, how the graphics suck, yada yada yada. And I'm not really like that. I have a PS3 and I love it a lot. I actually have a PS4 reserved as well. And why I enjoy playing the consoles is because there's a lot of great console exclusive titles. Like right now for the PS3, I'm playing through Metal Gear Solid 4, and honestly, that game is probably better than every PC game that's came out in like the last 5 years. It is that good. Metal Gear Solid 4 is a 10 out of 10 game. It's a classic game, and it's only available on the PS3. So games like that, you're only going to be able to get them on the PS3. And don't even bring up the concept of emulators to me. Guys, there is not a PS3 emulator out. I can't believe some of you are that foolish enough to think that there is a PS3 emulator out, because there are some fake websites putting up that they have a PS3 emulator when in reality it's probably just a virus and you guys don't want to download that. Or there are videos up that link you to do a survey when all they want is your money, and there's really no PS3 emulator. The reason for this is that because that a PS3 uses a complex cell architecture, which is going to be near impossible to emulate. It's like the Sega Saturn from a couple years ago. That thing to this day is still impossible to emulate on really high-end machines even. Now that we got the emulator thing out of the way, the reason I really like consoles, like I said, is because of the console exclusive titles, and because sometimes I do like playing with a controller. I know that most PC games do support controllers, but some of them still don't, and for some reason I just get into console games more. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it. I still prefer PC. PC is where I buy all my multi-platform games, but I really enjoy some console-exclusive titles like The Last of Us. Last of Us is actually my game of the year so far for this year. Metal Gear Solid, like I said, the Final Fantasy games, Kingdom Hearts. There's a lot of good titles on consoles that aren't available on the PC, and I think PC fanboys just like to, you know, sweep that under the rug because PC doesn't have those games. And guys, just buy a friggin' PS3. They're not expensive. If you can afford a high-end PC, you can afford a PS3. There's a lot of great titles, and I don't care. I buy both of them. I play both of them. I don't limit myself because I'm just a closed-minded gamer and I just want to play on one platform. I'm not like that. I play the best games, and I go and I flock towards where the best games are and whatever platform they are. I don't care if it's Sony. I don't care if it's Microsoft. I don't care if it's Nintendo. I don't care if it's the goddamn PC. That's just the way I am. Alright, Random Shot TV asks, Mush, what do you think about the Total War games? I never see you play them. Do you just not like RTSs? Now, RTSs, I used to be really against them. I really didn't like those games, although Company of Heroes 2 has been released, and I really do enjoy that game. The Total War games, I've only played a little bit of Total War Rome 1, and that game was so old, so I just stopped playing it after a little bit. I played a multiplayer game with my friend, and after that, I really haven't gone back to it. I do own Shogun 2, I own Napoleon, and I think I own Empire Total War on Steam. I have to get around to playing those, and Rome 2 is coming out. I've seen gameplay videos of that. That game does look pretty awesome, and I will be picking that up day one. But the thing about RTSs that I don't really like is that they're so oversaturated on the PC. If you guys go on like Steam and look up the upcoming games, there's so many strategy games coming out. It's like, come on guys, how many more strategy games do we need on the PC? I know they work really well with the keyboard and mouse configuration, but damn, it's like so many strategy games. Come on, like the only strategy games that I'm going to play are Company of Heroes, StarCraft, and Total War. Those three are the big three strategy games on PC, and Civilization, I think, but that's not really a real-time strategy game, I don't believe so. But those are the three big RTSs that I'm really into, or would even consider playing. I'm not really into RTSs right now besides Company of Heroes 2, which I think is a fabulous game, and I think a lot of people do need to play that, because even for the single player, that game is a ton of fun. But yeah, I do think RTSs are kind of like PC's, shooter to the consoles. Shooters are so oversaturated on consoles, and RTSs, in my opinion, or just strategy games in general, are kind of oversaturated on the PC. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people love them, but to me, it's just so many strategy games, and, nobody's gonna play all those strategy games. Alright, Jimbo the Fall, or Jim Bob the Fall, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I'm pretty sure I am. He asks, do you think that the case should come first or last in your build priorities? Now, in my opinion, what I like to say is interior before the outerior. Now, that doesn't mean you completely want to get a shitty case if you're buying a $1,000 build. But the thing is, if you're buying a $1,000 build, that doesn't mean you have to use a tenth of that budget on a case. You can get a $50 build and get away with most things. I mean, cases are nice to have, but they should be not anywhere near your top priorities. Before you invest into a case, you want to make sure you have the graphics card that you want up to par. You want to make sure you have a decent CPU, decent motherboard, decent RAM. All those things come before the case, in my opinion. Make sure you do get a decent case that can hold all your parts, but then don't go over exuberant on the case. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people love to get a $300 case. That's just not what I do. I mean, I have like a $1,500 build, and I only have a $60 case in the half 912. Alright, Nova Spike Cad asks a really good question that I really want to answer, and he asks, do you think COD will be decrowned in the next generation of games? And I hate to break it to people are not they cannot accept the harsh reality that it is, and that is no. Whether you're a Battlefield fan, Battlefield is not going to take the reins of COD. Just accept it. Accept the fact that COD is too big of a behemoth. That Battlefield, while it is a big game, COD is on a bigger scale than Battlefield. The reason for COD's success is because Activision, their development costs are probably insanely low. They usually slap and paste, games from previous installments of the series, like Black Ops into Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2 into Modern Warfare 3. That keeps development costs low, so they can put more money into advertising. That's where Activision really, really excels out with the COD series. Their advertisement is top-notch. They are able to confuse and just fool ignorant gamers into thinking this is a new game, and you know what? Kudos to Activision. They're taking advantage of gamers that don't know what to buy, and they're capitalizing on it. I don't have anything against them. It is a business. They are capitalizing on stupid people. That is the truth. I'm sorry. People are going to keep buying the COD games until eventually people realize that these games suck and they're the same thing over and over again. Well, I do enjoy COD's campaigns. Their multiplayer, it's been like the same thing for a while. I mean, they do add tweaks and whatnot, but it's been pretty much the same thing for a long time. And it's not like it's like Guitar Hero, because Call of Duty is compared to Guitar Hero a lot, but the thing about Guitar Hero was they wanted you to buy a guitar like every 5 minutes, and it was obvious that they were just giving you new tracks, and they weren't really going ham on the advertisement on Guitar Hero like they are with Call of Duty. By the way, Guitar Hero and Call of Duty were both published by Activision, the behemoths, basically the #1 gaming publisher right now. Maybe you can kind of say EA's in that argument too, but I think Activision's a little bit bigger. So yeah, that's just my opinion. I do not think COD will be decrowned. I think it's going to be a couple more years. I think 3-4 years and people will finally start getting off this hype train. I think Ghosts is going to do well. If the apparent Modern Warfare 4 does come out, which I don't think that's going to be true, I think, just give it a couple years, and I think it will finally start to go downhill. I don't think it's going to be because of Battlefield. Battlefield took the reins of COD. I think it's just like people are going to fall off COD. They're going to move on to something else, whether it be Battlefield, whether it be Halo, or whether it be the next big thing, because, something's eventually going to come up to take the reins of COD. Final question comes from the Gaming Note. Hey Mush, are you like me when you enjoy an anime so much you try to find out everything? For example, Attack on Titan has caused me to search up various things in the manga, and yes, even read the manga. Okay, I tend to stray away from spoilers and whatnot, but I'm not gonna lie, I was enjoying Attack on Titan so much, and it was more or less my friend's fault, although I'm gonna blame my friend on this, even though it was partially my fault too. We started looking online because we were like, where's this story gonna go? And we kind of accidentally spoiled ourselves. I think the intent was to spoil ourselves, but we just don't want to admit it. Yeah, we spoiled ourselves in the show. I mean, when you get so invested into a show and what's coming up next is online, online, I think you do get tempted, and I was, I wanted to go online and looked up what happened. Obviously, I want to keep myself away from doing that because a show like Attack on Titan, which is like the only anime I watch right now, it's literally the only anime I watch, I really want to enjoy the animation because the animation is top-notch. It, like, completely shits on Naruto. I know Naruto was made a long time ago, but Attack on Titan's animation is AAA. It's fucking awesome. So, yeah, thanks for watching this video. Remember to leave your questions down below. Just make sure it's not a question that you've already asked in a previous video. And, yeah, I will catch you guys later. Peace.